that are, fundamentalist Christians who smoke DMT?
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. We have a lot of listeners from all different types of religions and backgrounds, and they've written us and said, hey, we've tried this, and it's really opened our eyes and made us even stronger in our faith.
Well, that's great news, yeah. Well, that's really very powerful confirmation. Well, so we come from the West, as opposed to the East. So we aren't Buddhists. Our, special book, the sacred book is the Bible. It isn't the Vedas or the Sutras. And, the stories of the Bible permeate our culture, Abraham and, Moses and the Exodus and Mount Sinai and the Ten Commandments. Quite a few people rebel against all of those ideas and concepts and stories, but, they kind of permeate us, permeate our essence and our soul and our minds and our culture. They're everywhere. So I think if we can dispense with our, kind of negative emotional reactions, if we could view Scripture through a psychedelic lens, it would really open up an incredibly powerful field of study and investigation and inquiry and all kinds of very interesting things.
If someone was interested in doing the DMT for the first time, what would you suggest to them that how would you suggest that they prepare themselves? And what type of mindset should they be in, and what should they seek out of it?
A good place to start is to learn as much about DMT as you can. So that's like a good place to start is, my DMT book, obviously. And also, I contribute a pretty interesting, chapter at the end of the Inner Paths, book, which is called Getting Ready for the Journey. And it's a, fairly long chapter, around 25, 30 pages. And it gives a, fairly step-by-step approach to, kind of getting ready for your, first big, psychedelic experience. Do your therapy, do your meditation, learn what you can, get your body in shape, get your mind in shape, think about if you're going to do it alone or with a friend or in a group.
Set and setting, right?
Yeah, the set and the setting issues are extremely crucial. Yeah, so I kind of articulate it and explicate and, expand on, the varieties of, the issues that are that accompany the whole concept of, set and setting.
And you refer to it as a spirit molecule and not a drug. I know you go into detail about it in DMT, the spirit molecule, but can you expand a little bit on that?
On describing DMT as a spirit molecule?
Well, yeah, like how did you come up with that particular phrase?
Oh, how did I come up with that? Well, yeah, I just, kind of spent a lot of time, thinking what to call my book. What? It just, kind of sprung into my mind, but it sprung into my mind after quite a bit of, hard thinking about it. It's a molecule, that's, kind of a neutral term. It isn't a drug. It isn't, sacrament. It isn't a psychedelic. It's a molecule, plain and simple. Spirit, I suppose I referred to spirit at the time as, kind of immaterial or, non-corporeal or incorporeal, kind of non-physical.
Right.
That was, kind of, my understanding of spiritual at the time. So DMT, is a molecule that, that's, seemed to lead people, to the perception or the entry into states of mind or existence, that were incorporeal, non-physical. All of these, beings and landscapes that people encountered were comprised of light, not of matter. So it, seemed to me, that this, was a molecule, that allowed, people, to access spiritual, levels of reality, for lack of a better term at the time anyway.
And would you say it's like a lubricant for the soul? Wasn't that in your book?
A lubricant? No, I don't think I refer to it as a lubricant. More like kind of a little scout, or like a tugboat, or like a ferry, or like.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like a helper, as it were.
I just had another question for you, Dr. Strassman. What about psychedelic virgins? People who have never done psychedelics before. Would you consider them good candidates for DMT usage, or would you prefer that they use other psychedelics first to get their feet wet in that field of psychoactives before moving on to DMT?
Well, I could maybe even, kind of throw in my disclaimer again. I don't encourage people to do drugs or break the law. Right. But still, people do. And, I suppose, if one is going to start doing mind-altering, substances, just start with things that aren't that strong at small doses, and then just kind of and then over time you can build up gradually to stronger things at bigger doses. DMT is not for spiritual or psychedelic children. It can really kind of rattle your cage. So I would be I wouldn't encourage anybody to start off with that, for sure.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Dr. Rick Strassman. You can find his work at rickstrassman.com, amazon.com. His books are called DMT, The Spirit Molecule, and Inner Paths to Outer Space. Dr. Strassman, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
Well, it's a big, mysterious world out there. And, these, drugs can open, doorways to, certain aspects that are otherwise closed to most of us most of the time. So, they tend to raise more questions than they answer. But, be safe is the main recommendation I always give people.
And I cannot agree with that more. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Dr. Rick Strassman, and sir, you be safe too on your journeys. We hope to have you back on the show, whenever you finish up with the new book, because we want to know all about it. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, and we really appreciate it. You have a wonderful night.
Bye, Dr. Strassman.
Bye-bye.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Truth Frequency with Chris Geo and Socio Student. We were speaking with Dr. Rick Strassman. Once again, his work is DMT, The Spirit Molecule, and Inner Paths to Outer Space. You can find it on Amazon.com, and his official website is rickstrassman.com.
And also be on the lookout for his newest book, Souls of Prophecy, coming out sometime next summer, is what he said?
That's going to be a really, really good one.
Yeah, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Truth Frequency. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time at truthfrequency.com.
The guests just keep getting better and better, huh?
They do. The shows keeps getting better and better. But hey, y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
With the renegades, castaways, outlaws to the game like Thomas Paine was. They masquerade us. Who's to blame us? Now set to explode like a hand grenade does. No peace to seize the police to show peace. Unleash beef, no relief, peace. Underneath the beast that lies dormant. Forced to use force, torture, use caution. Tossed to the ground, subliminal blinded. Like KRS-One, cause I'm criminal minded. I run with soldiers amongst the vultures. Now you're under control, cause you do what they told you. It's the front lines now, we're living the battle. Slowly I walk through the valley of shadow, and there's no man that's gonna keep me down. To the thief, to the king when he snatched the crown.
We're burning down the watchtower. Burning down.
My man, dig my earth. My man, dig my earth.
Burning down the watchtower.
My man, dig my earth. My man, dig my earth.
Yo, how many stars need to fall before we learn to burn the hype out and put your lights out? I'm sitting here thinking like, who's the wiser? Then I act like Chuck D and fight the power. Who would have thought we lost charge the watchtower and shower the game with acid rain every hour. Devour these corporate politicians in office that keep watching you from satellites in orbit. So hold your breath now, walk the front line. The streets are a battlefield, this war's a gold mine. Sent to confuse you, here to abuse you. Joking strategically placed to elude you. So tell me who knew these thieves would fool you. Too bad none of us act like we used to. We're crazy now, we heard the lies. I see some of the vomit when you stole the sight. Come on.